Okay, so hello everyone. Good evening. First of all, myself is Shornadeep Ghosh. So today I'm gonna show you e-commerce app that I have made using Django. So let's get started. So this is my front page basically. Okay, first let me stop the server and then restart it first. Okay, so here you can see by using this command python manage.py run server, we can start our Django server. But before that, first we have to enable activate the environment. Okay, so you can see my server starting, and yeah, we got the port number along with the server address at 127.0.0.1 colon 8000 slash. So and we can call it a, it's a localhost as well, localhost server as well. So here you can see I've already opened the site in my web page. So let me reload it first. Okay, so this is my front page basically. Okay, so this is my front page basically. So let me give you a brief introduction about my website. So this website is for automobile parts spare parts. Okay, like from this website, I made it this website for selling automobile spare parts like engine parts, braking systems, suspensions, tires, and everything. Okay, so this is my home page. Okay, and in the product page, okay, so I've added some demo products basically here. So just ignore it. I'm going to show you all how to add a new category and new product as well. In this, so in this is my home page. Okay, this is my home page, and this is my category section, basically product category section, the engine components, braking system, suspension, accessories of an automobile, of automotives. Okay, so and that's all. So there's a front end, I mean the front page, home page basically. So let's get started by creating a new account first. Okay, so for that, I'm gonna hit the register button first. Register. As you can see, I have made it a two dashboard for my application. One is for seller dashboard and one is for customer dashboard. Okay, if a seller want to sell his product, then he has to register by clicking the seller, and the same process like full name, his email ID, password, and confirm password. Okay, and this is customer, and in the customer have to do the same full name. You have to enter full name, email, password, and confirm password, everything. Okay, so let me start it by registering as a customer first. Okay, so let me see. My name is Shornadeep Ghosh. Email ID, suppose this email, and password it. Okay, here I put a validation that your password should have to be at least 8 characters. Okay, so let me create my password first. See, I've created a password for my website, and I can see I've added a password strength meter to show that how strong is your password, and you have to enter the same password here as well. See, if if I put a wrong password, then it will show the red color that my password isn't matched with my current password, the confirm password. So for that, but if I put the same password, the prompt will show that password matched automatically. Okay, so when I hit the create account button, and the verification mail will be sent to my email ID to activate this account. See, with the notification. So let's go to my email. Okay, so yeah, see, I got the mail already, notification sound. Yeah, this is the email I got from my website. So here the message shows like that, account activation required, and also for that we have to click on this, click click here the verify email address text, and when we click it, see my account activated successfully, will be redirected to this login page. Okay, so from here we can log into our account. Okay, so let's log into my account first. This is my this was my email address, and I put my password first. Okay, login. Okay, see, I logged into my account. Okay, so this is the customer dashboard basically. Okay, so see this, in this profile picture, because in this profile section I haven't added a default profile picture, so that should showing like that. So for that, if you want to add the profile picture, you can click on this button profile, and then we'll go direct to this page, and here you have to click on the account settings here. Okay, then from here we can update our profile information, such as our profile picture, email address, our full name, our phone number, our date of birth, and then gender. Okay, so let me fill this really quick. Okay, so first I have to update my profile picture. So let me put a random picture first. Okay, I'm submitting a random picture, suppose. Okay, suppose this. Okay, so this, and the email address will be same, the phone number. Okay, so this is my phone number, I put it, and the date of birth. Okay, so in this date of birth section, see clear, you can see clearly I've added a filter called the future dates won't be available. I mean, the current date was today, the 5th of June. So this will be the last date. Okay, if I register it, or if I edit my account tomorrow on the 6th of June, then the last date will be shown me 6th of June. Okay, so here I've added a validation, or you can say filter. So let me suppose click a random, okay, July, and random date. Okay, and the gender is male, and save changes. When I hit the save changes button, you can see there's a prompt showed that a notification message shows to us that profile updated successfully. Okay, so here you can see my profile picture is visible. You can see profile, and from this page also you can update your profile. You can change your password. You can add addresses. You can add new address, like here address name, street address, city, state, and country, etc. We'll be showing it later. I'll show you later everything, and you can delete your account from this page as well. Okay, so let's get back to the home page again. So this is my home page. I added a simple carousel here actually, and that's all. Okay, so as I said you guys that I have created my account from the front end. Okay, so let me take you guys to the backend part. Okay, the code part. So here, so for my the account creation and everything, I've made it an app called account. Okay, this is my account app. And to create this app first, and to create this app, we had to hit a code. Okay, so for that we had to hit a code in Python, like Python manage dot py space start app, and your app name. Suppose my app, like for my case, my app name was account, so I'll just type account. Okay, so account. So like whatever app name you want to use, like for different tasks you can create a different types of apps. Okay, so for user registration and like any kind of work, like every kind of work related to users, like creating account, changing password, and deleting password, and updating your profile, everything comes under the user section. So for that, I'll created an app called account. Okay, so you just have to hit this command in your terminal after activating the virtual environment, and the apps will get created. But after getting the app created, you have to configure this app in settings. Okay, for my case, my project name is e-commerce, so I have to go to the settings, and here I have configured my app in the installed app section. Here you can see account. Okay, this is the account. So you can configure this app, or you can say we have to define the app. I mean, we have to define the app in our project settings, so that our backend, or you can say Django server, will know that we're working on this app, and we have installed this app. Okay, and this app is for that work. Okay, so here you can define the app like this: account.apps.account config, or you can just directly or you can just directly write like this: account. So both will work same, but this one is for this one meant like Yeah, like the both will work same, but this one defines like for better practice, you can say. Okay, so let me delete it first, or I'll get an error basically. See, okay, so let me take you guys to the account tab, like whatever I've done in the back end. So first go to the views. Okay. So here you can see this is my views, views.py, where I've written all the methods and all the functions. Okay, so let's get started with the register view. Okay, so this is my registration page. Okay, which I handle post method. Okay, I mean when a user will click the button submit. Okay, so okay, I've already shown you how to register. Okay, let me just delete my account first. Let me show you from the I mean from the starting again. Okay, like delete my account and I'll show you again. I mean simultaneously I'll explain you the code and the front end process as well. Okay, like yeah, you can see my account has been deleted successfully. Okay, so when I had the register button, you can see this is my registration page. Okay, suppose I'm registering as a customer. You know, I have to give my full name, I have to enter my full name, my email ID, I have to create a password, a strong password, and the same password. Okay, so in the backend part, you can see this is my register view. Okay, let's expand this. See, okay, so see by this line, user dot is active. Okay, let me show the model first. Then you will create more. Okay, see, this is my model basically for the account tab. So this is the user manager. Okay, so this is my user manager. So this is my user manager. I mean, let me show the user first. Okay, so I've created a class. Okay, I've created a class, and here like see in Django, uh, like I could have made it a custom user model, but that should have taken very long time. So that's why I've used Django's abstract base user model. This is Django's inbuilt user model then in Django. Okay, so here I'm inheriting the abstract user model, or you can say the class in my base user. Okay, I mean the base user in this class user class. Okay, so here I have uh, you can see email, name, my full name, the profile picture, date of birth, the model fields actually. I mean this you can see these are kind of okay. One second. So sorry, I'm back again. Actually, I got a call from my home. So yeah, so where was I? I was explaining the account model. So yeah, so here, so let me give a brief introduction about my account models. Okay, so here I've used custom user model. I mean email based authentication. Here I've used email based authentication. Okay, and secondly, here I've used role based permission for different types of users like customer and seller. Okay, here I've used address management with default address support. Okay, so let's open the first class, user manager. Okay, so this class basically handles user creation with proper validation and normalization. Okay, so here in this function, I've created a function create user. Okay, so okay, see here I've added a validation. Okay, the email address must have to be valid. You can't enter a random email address of random names which is not valid or maybe not registered. It has to be a valid email address. It can be Gmail, it can be Yahoo Mail, it can be Outlook, anything. Has to be a valid email address. Okay, so you can see here I've added an email address and So this function basically for creating uh, this is basically user manager. I've made it a custom user model here basically. Okay, so this create users and super users. Super users, who are super users can log into the admin panel. So here you can see user. I've created an instance of the user model, user and all everything. Okay, this is this. Okay, so in here I've created a separate function for creating super user. See, in Django we can create super user through shell. Okay, but here I've created a function by which user or maybe sellers can register as a super user through through the login through the web page as well. Okay, so by default the super I've given permission to the super user. By default the super user has to be a staff true, has to be super user true, has to be active. Okay, so in here if I just change this value true to false. Okay, if I change this value true to false, then if I create the super user as well, if I create a super user as well, and after successful registration, the super user will not be able to log into the admin panel because here I have because let me put it like if I put it false, okay, if I added false, okay, the super user if I like after successful registration, the super user won't be able to log into the admin panel because because by default I've given permission that super user will be is active permission will false. So for that we have to keep this by default true so that super users after successful registration super users can successfully log into their admin panel. Okay, so here I've kept some validations that super users must have to be staff true. I mean the, yeah. So yeah. So so this is a user model. I'm gonna explain you later this actually. So this is super manager. Sorry, this is the user manager class here. But like this is to handle. This is a custom manager basically to handle the user creation and super user creation. Okay, so let me take you back to the user class here. I've created a custom user model here. Okay, by extending Django's abstract user class. I mean, we can like by using Django's abstract user class, we can we're inheriting Django's abstract user class here. Okay, or else if I create a whole custom user model, then we have to write a very lengthy code. So that's the benefit of using Django is we can like Django has some very fantastic built-in functions or class that we can inherit anywhere and we can just write the code. Okay, so here, okay, so in this user model, okay, so in this user model, I have written some fields for emails that for email field name, for name field profile picture is for uploading or changing for the profile picture, handling the profile picture, edit everything for date of birth, for phone numbers and gender choices. Okay, so here you can see these minor fields. Okay, by default after creating a user, I have given the permission that I've written here that by default the user will be active status will be false because we have used here email based authentication. For that, like after successful registration, an user has to an activation email will be sent to the user to activate his or her account. For that, we've written this line is active models.boolean field default will be false. And as you can see, a normal user can't be a staff or can't be a supervisor. So for that I've written this. Here, this one is handling the this one. I'm, I'm handling we're handling the role management. It's customer is seller. So by default, if someone register, he will be customer by default. For seller, you have to specifically click on the seller option. Okay, and here the created field, updated field, and username field. Okay, so here for unique identifier authentication, we have used username field as email. Like we could have used username field as username as well, but you can add this as well. But here I've used, like, you can do whatever you want. You can use the username field as email, you can use the username field as username, or both, either username or either email. So here I specifically use username field as email for more robust authentication. Okay, so here this is a meta function for giving permissions basically, and this is a and in Python this is a dunder function string. Okay, so uh, here we have given the permission, specific permission has perm. Sorry, I'm getting again a call from my parents. Okay, so I'm back again. So sorry for the interruption. So I was explaining the user class actually. Okay, so here you can see we've written two methods, two functions basically. Has define has perm and has module perm. This functions checks where the normal user has any specific permission or not. I mean, I want that only super user have all the permissions, and by this function, we're checking if the user has any permission to see the all apps to the admin panel or not. Okay, so after that comes the address module. Address model. So here I'm so here I created a foreign key concept. It means you can see use. I'm using the user as a foreign key here. It means it means it means the address has a foreign key to the user. What does it mean? It means that an address an address can have exactly one user, but an user can have multiple addresses. That's why here I've used a foreign key. Okay, I mean, but so basically, why is foreign key? A foreign key in Django model is a field that creates a relationship between two database tables and establishing a many-to-one relationship between model instances. Okay, so in simple languages, a user can have multiple uh, addresses. That's why I'm here. I'm using an user foreign in address as a. I mean here. That's why I'm using the address foreign key referring to the user. Okay, so here you can see the address name, street address, city, state, zip code, zip. Sorry, yeah, zip code spaces. Sorry, fields are there. Okay, yeah. So and then in the country section, you can see in the country section, I've used Django's built-in countries. For that, now what is Django's built-in countries? Django's built-in countries is where we can get the exactly you can say, I mean, not countries, like Django has some built-in features for the country field. The like here I've imported uh here imported a function, or you can say a package, a module from Django's built-in functions country field. Now what is country field in Django? Country fields in Django is for standardized country data. Okay, like let's give a drop down or a, like, I mean, in front end, if I had need to get a user country details. For that, we have to either we have to enter every country's name in the drop down section or in the selection section. But by using Django's this country field, we can get the exact country data simply. This is basically Django's a built-in library. Okay, and then here I've written another field, either the address is default or not. I mean, by front end, users can select an address which is default or not. Okay, so here I created a the meta class as inside this. So here, seat minority here unique default address. Okay, it means an user can have one and only default address. He can't have he or she can't have multiple default addresses. Okay, that's why I've written this function. Okay, that should have only one unique address. Okay, so in this is ordering field. Okay, by this we can audit, or you can say trail the records of everything through admin panel, like when the address is getting created, when the address is getting selected as default or not, everything. Okay, now let's take you to the forms. Here I've used Django's crispy form to take the user data so that we can process the data, like, and we can take the data from the front end and process in the back end. Okay, so let me first open the registration form. Okay, so here I've used class based function. Okay, so here the user can choose the roles customer, seller. Okay, so here I've used, so here in this registration form I've used Django's tuples. Now why have we used Django's tuples? To get the data, to choose the data basically in the registration form for role choices and everything. Okay, and the first value is for the model, where I'm referring this value to the model. You can say customer here, and the role choices here. Yeah, this is I mean the first value is for the Django models, and the second value is for the human, in the user readability customer. I'm basically here I'm using two storing two values as tuple. Okay, so here where I was yeah, I was telling about the role choices. So here I've used Django tuples. Now where I'm using tuples here, because in Django tuples are used in this context because they're immutable. Okay, ensuring that the I mean for ensuring that defined choices, the user whatever choices you have took remain constant throughout the application and throughout the whole process. Okay, so here the customer, this value will be stored in the database, and this value will be showing to the user. Okay, so for the role choices I'm using here customer and seller, and this one is handling the role choices. Okay, this one is for handling the role choices. This is the registration form. Okay, in this registration form I've used a validation. Okay, by creating a function clean mail. Okay, I mean by default by default any stored email address will be clean. I mean it will be the whole clear form. Okay, so if the user's email id already exists, then it will show validation error that the user is with this mail already exists. Okay, and then I have here some meta fields for email and password and confirm password. Here the password one is for the the new password field, and the password 2 field is for the confirm password field. Okay, and the placeholder, like the password field will show to enter full name and the example.com, etc. Okay, then here comes the user profile form. This user profile forms where the user is editing his profile. I mean, for editing the user profile, his phone number, his profile picture, date of birth, gender, and everything. Okay, so in this by using the widgets, Django's built-in Django's built-in libraries here we are using like by using this forms.date input here. I'm adding calendar to there for the data for the date fields basically. Okay, and then comes the password change form. Here, user can change his password. Okay, like he can change his old password to new password. You can see first he have to hold his old password, the new password, and new password one. New password two means the confirm password field basically. Okay, and then comes the password reset form. This for the resetting the password basically, and this for the address form. Okay, by this form, we're taking the user's address. Okay, so here I've created a default function. I mean, a function for address field where by default, if a user add an address, it will be it will be nothing. I mean, by default, it won't be default. For that, the user have to specifically click on the address which he wants to be default address. Okay, and if and here also I've added a validation error here where if an address is by default, I mean, if suppose an user clicked in an address address as in default address, okay, and then see, and then he clicks on another address, saved address, and he clicked on the by set this address as default. Here it will show a validation that the user has already default address, and he have to unselect the first one first. I mean, the first default address first. Okay, and then here the address fields basically the address name, state, city, zip code, or like the postal code, country name, etc. So here you can see again I'm using the Django's built-in country field library for getting the better country options. I mean, for by using this country field library, by using this Django's country field library, we don't have to write or add each country name to our HTML page so that it will get lengthy. So by using this, there's a drop down stores. I mean, this loads the entire countries available in this world. Okay, from there you can choose this country. Okay, now comes to the views. Okay, so here's my views function. So this is my register view basically. Here you can see I'm calling the registration form here to process in the front end, I mean the back end. Okay, so here I'm using the post method. I mean, the user has to click submit. Okay, see, let me show you in the website as well. See, this is my registration page. Okay, let me get back to the home page first. So this is my home page basically. Okay, when the user click registration at the registration here, if the user click the customer button, here the tuple here the tuple method comes. Okay, the tuple data types comes when the user clicks the customer button and he register as a customer. Until unless the user deletes his account, okay, he or she will be a customer constantly. That data, I mean his role, his or her role won't get changed. That's why we're using tuple here, because tuple is immutable. Once we created a tuple to put some values, it's immutable. Okay, so here user has to give full name and the email address and have to create a strong password basically. Okay, see this create account button. Okay, by using this create account button means we're posting this. Okay, we're sending this data to the backend where it will process the data and create an ID for us. Okay, So that's why we're using the post method. Okay. So by default, in here I'm using the user has to be will be by default inactive. Inactive means is active false. Okay, and here we're using the clean data role seller. Okay, means if the user is seller, then the data will be, I mean, if the user clicks seller, then you will get the role as seller, but else by default it will be customer. That's true. Okay, then I'm using the save function that user got saved. Okay, here I'm using Django's encoding encoding library. Okay, where Django will generate a token, where Django will generate a token for that specific user to activate his account. Okay, that's why I'm here using the Django's token library. Here a token will generate for the specific user. Okay, and an activation link. I mean, in this activation link, the token will be there. Okay, and an activation mail. An activation mail will be sent to the user's specific email address. What I suppose here I put my email address 01sonadip@gmail.com. So a specific token with an activation URL will be sent to my this email address to activate my, or you can say verify my email account, or to my account basically. Okay, so here that's why I've written this function activate account. Okay, so here in this function activate account function, I'm handling the success message, account activated successfully, and here I'm giving some warning messages if the account is already activated. Okay, but the email activation link also has been sent to the user. I mean, suppose the email has been already sent to the user. Okay, and the user has already activated his ID and log into his account as well. But then, suppose the account again tried to activate his account by clicking this that link sent to this email address. This message will show that account already activated. Okay, so let's generate my activation token from here. Okay, so when I okay, so here I have see here when I hit the click account button, this loading page is showing. It means the user won't be able to enter the click button again and again until the uh, until the registration, until the page redirects me to the login page. See, I've got the mail already for my activation. This was my old activation account link. Okay, let me refresh this page. See, my new activating link is has come up. So this link. Okay, when I click on this text, see, my account has activated successfully. And again, when I click this, the message will show account already activated. The warning message. So let me log into my account. So I'm successfully logged into my account. So this is where you can see the edit profile account. Okay, so let's get back to the views. So this is my login view. Here I'm just simply rendering or like checking the permissions, or they can say the roles. Either the customer is seller or customer. Either the user is customer or seller. Okay, if the user is seller, then it will get redirected to the seller dashboard, and if the user is customer, that will get redirected to the customer. For my case, I've registered as a customer. That's why I came up with the I am redirected to the customer dashboard. Okay, so then this login view function also handles the login process. Like the pass checks the password, the email address. If the email address or the password is wrong, then it will show an error. Okay, and if the account isn't active but I try to log in, it will show an error that, or the account is inactive, then I have to log in as well. So here you can see if the user is seller, then it will get redirected to the seller dashboard or else the customer dashboard. Okay, and here I'm checking if the user is authenticated or not. Means if either the user is registered and has verified his email address as well, then it will get authenticated. And after that, when the user is authenticated, then in backend the user, I mean in backend it checks either the user is a customer or a seller. Okay. Then here I've written some function for the password reset view. Here you can by from here you can see I've written a password reset view. Again I've used the token Django token generation link for password reset. I mean when I hit the reset password button, it will send a mail to my ID, the unique token ID. By that we can reset a password. Okay, and this for confirm view. I mean if the password reset is confirmed, then it will send an email to the user's mail ID that password reset has been completed. And then the comes the account management. Here in this account management means this page basically. Account management this page, this edit profile, this page, account settings for account management. Okay, this account management here address view. Okay, means you can see here I'm also here inheriting the address form from the forms.py, this address form for adding new addresses. Okay, and here also I'm using Django's filter method that if the use if the user has already has an default address or not, or by default if an user add an address, that address will be won't be default. That's the filter I've added here. And then the edit address function where you just can edit his addresses, and the delete address, set default address. Okay, by using this function the users can set his default address. See, this is the address model. Here I'm inheriting, or I'm calling here the I'm calling the address model here. This this address model I'm calling here basically this, that id will be address. I mean that if an user keeps an address, it will generate internally, it will generate a unique address id for specific addresses. Okay, that's why I'm here creating the address, calling that id, that user, the specific user. And by using this function also, the filter function, that by default all addresses, whenever the users you click an address, I mean add an address, by default it will be I mean by, but not I mean it won't be default. Let me show you first. Okay, suppose here I add an address. Okay, suppose anything, street name is like randomly. Here I was talking about the Django's country field. See, this country field, like you can see the all available the all countries that are listed worldwide is available. By clicking this, suppose in my case it's India, so I'll just click India. See, India comes to the India, it's India. See here, if I click this, also my address will be by default. But again I just click the save address. Okay, my address saved successfully. Here it's showing as well. And suppose I want to add a new address as well. Okay, so suppose this India save address. So here you can see by default none of my two addresses is default. For that I have to click this button. Okay, I have to click just this button, that default address. See here the message shows that is my default address, this is my default address, and this is my whatever. If I want to click this, then see this becomes my default address. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm using this filter method, that by default no addresses, saved addresses will be default. For that I have to click this each address first. And then the profile update view, this is for the profile update form. See that update profile information, where you can update your profile picture, your phone number, you can add your date of birth, you can add a gender, like everything. That's why here I'm calling the user profile form to handle my profile update post. Okay, and then comes the password change. Here by this change password. Here you can change your password, the old password, the new password, and the new password confirmation, and an email will be sent to you after changing your password as well. Okay, that's why I'm written a function here also. That same mail, that the default user mail, user.mail, email will be sent to him that the password has been changed successfully, and then delete account, and the admin registration. Here comes the admin registration. So here, if I click on this admin button, suppose it's a customer, but the customer wants to be a super user. Okay, so he will fill up the details, full name, email address, and everything, so that he will become a super user. That's what I created, a specific super user creation form by web page. Okay, so that's all for today. The user account section actually. So in this next video, I'm gonna show you all how to add product, how to add product category, and category, and how products are getting added to the cart as well, and the checkout and everything. Okay, thank you everyone for seeing this video.